I used to read for Poetic Justice way back with Ramsay, a lot of years ago. I'm going to be 87 next month, and I don't know, maybe you people know I lost my partner of the last 16 years a year ago, January, Margot, and actually I wrote a book to celebrate her, and my publisher in over on the island liked it so much that he published it, Margot Love in the Golden Years, and it's got poetry in it. But I want to read you, by the way, I'm reading from the traditional Semiahmoo traditional territory. I've moved to a seniors residence here in White Rock, and I'm in lockdown. But anyway, in this time of coronavirus and social distancing, my mind turns to the homeless men and women destitute on Vancouver's downtown east side. I was fortunate enough to go down there to do a workshop or two some years ago. I remember also myself being young, alone, and afraid on the streets of Vancouver some 65 years ago, maybe longer than that now. I slept on a park bench and almost got arrested for vagrancy. So I'd like to share two poems from Crescent Beach Reflections, published in 2017 by Rutherford Press over on the island. These two are from a section called On the Downside, so it's celebrating the downtown east side. Homeless. She spends her days curled up on tattered rags and soggy cardboard mats, in crooked doorways and by graffiti marked dumpsters on the cold, hard sidewalk, drowning slowly in the unforgiving rain. When she's hungry, she roots for scraps of secondhand spoiled food behind greasy spoons and burger joints, dining in bleak alleys on dark side of Skid Row. Should she chance to find a half-inch butt that's not been crushed, she'll catch a light, remembering when she smoked a pack a day. Those days long gone now, just a hazy memory. Once she went to work each morning, drove her kids to daycare and school. For 19 years she worked. Then one day she walked away. No one knows where she's gone or why. Now here she is, a broken down angel, a tarnished woman, wrapped in tattered rags and shattered dreams. With fixed stares, we all hurry by her. We don't even want to know her name. And the second one is from a section, this one's called Fix, and it's from the same area. I've tasted hatred at your reeking alcohol tobacco breath, rough hands prying and taking, cockroach crawling room, stained walls, newspaper pasted windows, despair and sweat. Nowhere to go. Cops just as soon bust me as hear my moaning. When you're down, you're down. Every pimp and bimbo has your number. Need another trick to get my fix. Thank you. Therefore, for the grace of God, go I. Thank you very much.
Over to you.
I brought some props. Clifford. I got scissors, razor. The Bears Vacation. The Outsiders. Wait a second. I don't know. Whatever. You know The Outsiders. There's, who's this?
That's you.
Catcher in the Rye. Here's an old Shakespeare book I got from my great-great-grandmother. So that's in there too. Okay. So here's the poem. Yeah, it's not as good as my props. Okay. I have some great ideas for our education system now that we're doing some new learning. It's a new normal, it's a new thing. All you need are scissors and razors. Like in socials class, trim the bottom of Stalin's mustache and then just take off his whole mouth. Make sure each speech he makes for murder is muffled. Next, use a straight razor to shave the contours of Hitler's pencil neck. Splash your grandfather's aqua velva on Adolf's face so in every photo, in every textbook, there's an SS not even hailing Hitler, but putting his fingers to his nose in disgust. Okay, let's move away from socials and dive right into literature. I think we should rewrite children's stories, you know, sort of like a fan fiction. Clifford the big red dog squats above the White House. He leaves a steaming pile of litigation, hot, on the top of the president's lawn. He catches a scent and he's off, following a trail north to Ottawa. He finds the Parliament buildings, lifts his leg on the copper roofs until they steam a scent that reminds Justin Trudeau of his father, Pierre, never flushing the toilet. Wow, look at this. The Berenstain Bears, and they're on vacation until page 5 when they are shot by poachers. Then their pelts still in their outfits are mounted in a human cottage much like their own. Okay, let's jump to grade 8. The Outsiders, so risque. Pony Boy and Johnny kill a Soch. After that, they try and hop the train, but they fall on the tracks and get run over. Okay, we're moving on. Let's move to Romeo and Juliet. Let's make it more modern, more Romeo and Julio. And Julio's the first name of Lord Capulet. How's that? Okay, now let's go to Macbeth. The witches pour packets of Lipton's chicken noodle soup in the cauldron of Lady Macbeth's mind. They add a full bottle of Tabasco, which will never wash off her hands. And finally, let's rewrite The Catcher in the Rye. I'm thinking we give Holden Caulfield multiple chapters, maybe even half the book of sexual healing with Sonny, and then with Sally, and then even Stradlater, why not? Like all 4 in an orgy by the lagoons where the ducks are, before he moseys back to prep school with his hunting hat turned on straight. Anyways, those are some new ideas for our learning.
Well, I'm reading into this from the still calm of Falls Creek. A kind of a supernatural calmness has been my experience of the last few weeks. And so about 3 weeks ago, this piece emerged, which is, I guess, looking back 50 years and looking forwards 50 years. It's called Untitled, Still Vivid. I grew up in an empty playroom. I can still smell the lino and its wideness like a world map, with chairs and tables stacked in the corner for the farmer's annual luncheon or fireman's ball. An empty room for me and my imagination, and whatever box of toys I bothered with. Not much for lining them up in rows. I settled most for crayons and paper and made up treasure maps or board games about the Napoleonic naval blockade and chose the names of the hidden island soccer teams and designed their kit, white with blue cuffs for Grahammer, red and black for Nettla. There is where I grew up, in contented self-isolation, in a light-filled room with no outlook, practicing self-distancing, playing as though living through a lack of trauma. So that's my thought for the moment. And it's so great to have Poets Corner back. So
Thank you all for this scintillating opportunity. And this is a poem I wrote for one of my friends a few years back. And it is untitled. And one point to mention is that I do not call myself a poet yet. So I hope you just enjoy it. Thank you. The susurrations of your words surge through my ears, reminding me how misty my eyes get, how smile evolves in me time and again. Deeply breathing the ebbs and flows of your life as if my own, embracing each phase in your voice in that exact age. Death is no more. Yes, it is, and there will be no death in you, just the flux of ebullient thoughts over time, vigorous or serene, and its resonance in every creature. The innocence and pureness of soul, because I get hungry and thirsty. Never go on fasting, never let that voracious passion die out. Death is no more. You form that mother of pearl within you anytime an irritant came around. With power and care, exploring the breadth and depth of memories, dreams, longings in solitude. You, boundless horizon, remain the sea change in the world since death is no more. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks.
You'll have to read the comment I left for you in the chat. I think it's a very important one, and I hope it helps to inspire more poetry from you. We're currently at almost 600 members on our Facebook groups page. Please visit it frequently, tell others about it, invite them to it as well. It's one of the places where we can get messages out almost immediately. What Kim has done with the next social media button, the YouTube channel, we are just at the very beginning of building up archives for ourselves of readings, whether it's the 1-minute poems or whether it's our featured poems, which will be appearing. Francis, you need to know this. We're going to have you archived and up on YouTube via this recording of tonight's reading. And Instagram, we've added to the list, thanks mainly to Kim and her familiarity and knowledge about Instagram. But folks, we would love to have one more invaluable person to add to our team. And we are really in dire need of having a social media coordinator join a bunch of crazy, zany people who have one thing in common, and that is an incredibly deep love of poetry. And if you know of someone who has great social media skills, who can zoom through these 4 platforms in their sleep, we'd love to hear from you. Spread the word. Tell people what we're looking for. We're looking for a social media butterfly. Next month's featured poets will be Joseph Dandurand and Sonnet L'Abbe. There will also be our regular open mic. We will revert to our formula of having open mic first, followed by our featured poets. We did the reverse tonight to simply allow Frances to get to bed sooner than what she had anticipated. But Wednesday, June 17, another virtual reading. Frankly, folks, I think this damn thing went not too badly in terms of technicalities, etc. Thank you mainly to Kim, who's on the screen at the moment. You have been brilliant in handling this for us. To everyone still on the call, our heartfelt thank yous for making this a success. I think it is. And please do join us on our various social media platforms. Sign up for our newsletter. It will keep you abreast of what is happening at Poets Corner. And once again, team, you were great. Thank you all so much. Good night, and thank you for joining us. Bye-bye
Good
now.
night. Bye-bye.
Nice work,
Thank
Kim.
you.
Bye.
Well done.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.